we're going to talk about the Lassen Peak eruption in California in 1915. And as you can see in this picture, it's a pretty big volcano and a pretty big eruption that was pretty catastrophic. So how it began, it woke in 1914 by shaking, and it created a crater. And then 180 other eruptions enlarged the crater, and steam explosions started to blast out, and then over time, more of this happened, and May 14th, lava came out, which it just led up to the eruption of May 22nd. And this formed from the subduction of the Juan de Fuca plate beneath the North American plate, forming the Cascade Volcanic Range, and fluids from the subducted oceanic plate caused melting of the mantle above the plate, which rose to the surface and caused the eruption. So here's a picture of how the subduction occurred, and as you can see, the magma rose from the Juan de Fuca ridge, and it caused the range to occur. So the human impact was not that big. There weren't any deaths, but there was flooding that damaged ranches and wiped out everything, but luckily the people in those ranches got to escape, and they escaped with minor injuries. And it actually led to the formation of the Lassen Peak National Park. And this is a big tourist attraction, and people come to Lassen Peak now, and even at the late 19th century they would go for camping, fishing, mineral waters, and relief from the summer heat, because as we know, volcanoes cause cooling, and so it caused some relief. And it's actually known as the Little Gem by some people, which shows that it kind of turned into something great. And here is just a picture of the Lassen Peak National Park. As you can see, it's really pretty, good for fishing, and all of this stuff. So the environmental impacts, the flooding went down a creek, and it was very muddy from the snow. It turned into muddy water, and it killed a lot of fish. And additionally, volcanic ash rose and was sent up to 280 miles out, which made the air quality worse and affected the climate by making it cooler. And when the eruption occurred, it went down the northeast side of the mountain and wiped out 3 square miles of wilderness, and it's now known as the devastated area, this part. But luckily, erosion and vegetation are recovering the areas that are hurt, and it actually impacted all Earth systems because it impacted the land by clearly tearing apart the land, it impacted the air, it impacts the living things, and it impacts the water. So some interesting facts that I came across is that volcanoes in California, they produce heat because they're far from the city, and they produce heat and they actually generate electricity. And the Lassen Peak volcano is expected to erupt again, and the consequences are going to be way larger because a lot of more people came to this area and are living there now. So some lessons I learned is that since more people are living there, it kind of seems like people overlook these natural disasters and don't really view them as something that will potentially kill them and hurt the environment. And it's crazy to me that people actually move to that area to live there when it's going to erupt again. And also, I think it's important that the saying, life gives you lemons, you turn it into lemonade, you make lemonade, because the eruption occurred, but they actually turned it into something great. They turned it into the park, which is a big tourist thing, and it's beautiful.